Machine on pole position, the number 6 car, the Aston Martin of Phil Drybrough. This is a British GT spec car. It's quite a unique car to have up at Knockhill, an incredible time in qualifying. But Charlie Shaw, you could call him the king of this class. He is out to prove a point. I'll hand this one to Richard. It's going to be drama all the way.
Drybrough and Shaw on the front row of the grid with Stuart White and Paul Bride in row 2, then Warren Dunbar and Finlay Crocker. Row 4, Andrew Morrison and Robert Drummond, followed by Chris White and Mark Dawson. They're followed by Alistair Robertson and Fiona Kindness. Graham Davidson 13th with Mark Robson. Then Stuart Watt and David Gebby, followed by Barry Forbes, Chris Docherty, Martin McGeoch, then Ollie Ross, Joe Shuttleton, Ross Taylor and David Smale completing the grid. 23 cars, a bumper entry here at Knockhill with machines of varying shapes and sizes. The Balgoni Motor Company Scottish Saloon and Sports Car Championship about to get underway, the penultimate race of the year. You'll notice that Charlie Shaw was there before the green flag lap, but he's had some issues, and it's Phil Drybrough in the 5.7 litre, absolutely dwarfing anything else for engine size here. The British GT Championship contender, the Aston Martin Vantage, getting away, great start. Hopefully we'll see Charlie Shaw during the course of the race. 47, you'll know the number if you're a regular viewer, but the car is different. 47, the BMW M3 3-litre Class B1 car of Graham Davidson. We're used to seeing him in the Noble. There's Finlay Crocker in the Euro Cup spec Seat Leon. Great to see Finlay here. And Drybrough already getting away, but second position is Warren Dunbar in the Westfield, being passed by Paul Bryden in the BMW. Bryden gets across, back in fourth position. Well, takes you back to the Super Touring car era. It's Tom Christensen's old car being driven by Stuart White, and he's up into fourth place. We've got yellows as the cars go over the hill. Phil Drybrough doesn't need to worry about those. He's looking here to try and break the lap record for the category, and he's going to have to do it really before he gets into traffic, because as you'd expect with the multi-class structure here, he's going to get into traffic very quickly. He was only 2/10 quicker in qualifying than Charlie Shaw. I know Charlie wanted to take the race to him. Maybe we'll see him on track together before the end of this event. Great move though by the ex-Tom Christensen 2-litre Honda down the inside of the 2-litre Class A3 Westfield, and off the circuit. It's Robert Drummond, a multi-race winner in the championship before, but sadly the 2-litre turbo Escort Cosworth's out, and so I think he's out of the car. He's okay. You can see absolutely furious about that. Such a shame. A great driver, Robert Drummond. Hopefully we'll be able to get it fixed and out for race 2. If not, we look forward to seeing him back in 2015 as Paul Bryden comes down the hill in second place. Stuart White third, being challenged by Warren Dunbar. The champion for this year, Andrew Morrison, in his Seat, is back in fifth position. Finlay Crocker behind them. We've got some championship issues to settle. Now, the first thing to say about this weekend is that we've got a number of guest drivers who aren't scoring championship points, and we'll regard those as the racing in their classes and talk about those as class winners. Phil Drybrough, for example, racing in Class A2 as a guest driver, as is Stuart White and Warren Dunbar in A3. So we'll talk to you about who's winning the classes, but we also, of course, need to focus on the regular drivers. They're always here at Knockhill supporting the championship and are involved in their own battles for the points. Now, Andrew Morrison, you'll recall, won the championship from Chris White at the last round, and that sews up Class B1. In Class A2, David Gebby, the champion, but very closely fought between Fiona Kindness and Joe Shuttleton, and just 4 points separate those two coming into this race. The points work out as 25 points for a class win, 20 for second place. So it's all to play for in that class, and it looks like that will go down to the last race of the year. Comes David Gebby down across the line. Barry Forbes in his Seat Ibiza Cupra behind him, the 1800cc Class B1 machine. B1, we've got third and fourth place, Mark Dawson and Stuart Watt. That could get resolved here in this race. And then we've got, we mentioned the A1 battle. Ollie Ross leads the Mazda Championship by 8 points over Ross Taylor, with David Smale in third position. So Ollie's championship again, with more than 2 starters in the class, they get the maximum 25 points for starting, so that could well go to the last round of the year as well. Ollie did miss the first couple of rounds of the championship this year. As we look at the Aston Martin Vantage of Phil Drybrough, who's working his way through the traffic. He's getting close to, but not thus far, managed to get the lap record. I think we're all expecting him to get the fastest lap, and he's got down into the 50-second bracket. Lap 5, 50.497 seconds for him. And lapping a pace, there aren't going to be too many cars on the lead lap in this one. So he goes down past Barry Forbes, and the next target's going to be the Porsche Cayman of David Gebby, the Class A2 champion for this year. Gebby, new driver to motor racing. You can see that from the insignia on the back of the car. Good driving there, moves over. Porsche Cayman, passed by Aston Martin. Shades of the of some of the best GT racing that we can have in the UK. So here is Drybrough, lights on, just to let everybody know he's coming at a fair old rate of knots. The British GT contender, what a glorious car it is. And the fans here at Knockhill really been treated to see that, along with all the regulars who entertain us week in, week out. Andrew Morrison running well, up ahead of Paul Bryden now with Finlay Crocker. So this the scrap for 4th position. Stuart White is the man chasing Phil Drybrough at present. So coming up into Clark Corner, Andrew Morrison already wrapped up the championship, but he loves his racing, he's come back. And of course he's got Finlay Crocker here to race against in Class A2, and indeed Paul Bryden. Bryden is registered and looks down the inside. Great manoeuvre by Paul Bryden, who goes through past this year's overall champion. And we'll see whether the SEAT can return the compliment. Finlay Crocker is chasing as well in the Core Cup machine up the hill. 3-way scrap for the lead of Class A2. That's exactly what we want to see. Finlay's the guest driver, so won't pick up any A2 points in the championship, but won't be too worried about that. He's just enjoying his race. You've seen him in his Clio as well this year, raced with the Clio Championship on the British Touring Car package, including a meeting here at Knockhill. Always great to see him. And doing a fair bit of racing in Europe as well. Ollie Ross is leading the Mazdas at the moment, so he's going to edge a little bit closer to securing the Mazda Cup to add to the many, many titles that he's won in Scottish motorsport over the years. So up the hill goes the battle for B1. Here is Warren Dunbar coming through the traffic, past Barry Forbes, past David Gebby. Well, we saw Phil Drybrough pass those 2 cars earlier on, and Warren goes through safely. We've got Stuart White at the moment running in 2nd position, so Warren Dunbar is 3rd. The 2 guest A2 machines 1st and 2nd. Warren Dunbar in 3rd place overall, and the lone runner in Class A3, so he'll be class honours by virtue of finishing this one. And he climbs up the hill, lapping very competitively. Warren, 55.3, his best lap on lap 6. 53-second lap for Stuart White. There's Phil Drybrough, who goes past Finlay Crocker, the 6th place car. Now, of course, he's already lapped the Barry Forbes machine. He's already lapped David Gebby as well, and I'm wondering whether the Aston's going to have time to lap Andrew Morrison, who you can see is up front. There's a big gap. Look at the gap between the Aston and the SEAT. Now, they're in different classes, so we would expect a performance differential, but we'll just see how much that's going to tell. And the Aston's powering his way down through Hislops, coming down into the hairpin. I'm not sure I've done at the hairpin, so it's going to a wee run up the hill here to see whether he can put a lap between himself and this year's champion. Great shot of the 2 cars together, this year's champion and the race winner of the penultimate race of the season, Phil Drybrough. Great little race, superb selection of machinery that we've had here, and Phil Drybrough takes the win. Driver from White, Class A2. A3 goes to Warren Dunbar. Then it was Paul Bryden from Andrew Morrison. Finlay Crocker in 6th. Fiona Kindness comes 7th. She wins Class A1. A few more points over Joe Shuttleton. Mark Dawson next. He wins Class B1. Then Mark Robson, Chris White, Graham Davidson 11th. Stuart Watt 12th. from David Gebby, Barry Forbes, Joe Shuttleton, Martin McGeoch in the Ginetta G40, Ollie Ross winning the Mazdas from Ross Taylor and David Smale.